All right, Vanessa, let's take a look at your paper. Emily format first, so this is good. This is good. Um, Path to Fame. Not the most creative title in the world. All right, so you start off with a Taylor Swift quote, punctuated correctly, cited correctly, which is good. And then you jump right into, in order to become the hottest and wealthiest celebrity in the world, take a second, this sentence right here, put a new sentence in and just explain this idea of this quote. Okay, that really in life you have to be true to yourself, that you can't just take on the mentality of somebody else, because when you think about it, how does this quote relate to being rich and famous? One must bring out the inner sparkle to the stage, and I would just say, in order to become the hustler, you must bring out your inner sparkle to the stage, something like that. So I would just take a second to talk about this and then jump into to be the hottest and wealthiest celebrity in the world, like Taylor Swift. You need to do this. The person with talent must have the courage to fail in order to succeed, for success to begin. It's a little awkwardly worded, and I get what you're trying to say, but I think you might want to reword that sentence. Never make reference to your essay. There are certain steps that you have to take in order to become the hottest singer in the world. These steps include this, and this. Will lead to world popularity, showing what unique talent lies within oneself's heart with dedication. Reword this. Basically, you're trying to say that in order to be popular worldwide, people need to see the dedication that you have. I don't know, something like that. You got to focus on the reader, the you, the your. Focus on that. All right. So recognizing your singing talent will be the first step to beginning the journey to fame. Stronger topic sentence. I want you to be able to say, by recognizing your singing talent, you'll be able to ... Okay. So you talk about where you can get noticed: churches, bars, live shows, or with a vocal coach. Okay, punctuation. We learned this at the beginning of the year. You have television shows. How do you punctuate them? Chances are, if you're performing at one of these places, you'll get complimented, possibly rewarded, or asked to perform again. So no comma there. Unless you're going to make it items in a series, you'll get complimented, comma, possibly awarded, comma, or asked to perform again. So make sure you do that right. No comma here. You might receive more attention. Maybe you can even say, be specific. The local paper might write up an article about a young girl that blah, 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 blah. So that was just going to help your voice and help your details in there, because you're missing a lot of like really specific details, something that separates this from every other paper. Keep practicing for these techniques. Now, here's an interesting thought. Should you practice first before you try to get noticed, or are you just assuming that you're a really good singer already? That might be something you might want to bring up. You also need a strong transition. So to say that once you practice and once you are getting noticed, you can't let fame get to your head. That's why you need a support group. And then you jump down to this paragraph. All right, topic sentence. The next step, you'll need supporters. And you really need to say more than just you need supporters throughout your path of singing. They'll be with you along the way. Like, be real specific. What are they going to supply to you? I would also, as I read this whole paragraph and see where you're going, I would also really think about reorganizing this body, because it needs to be in chronological order. And you're already talked about being on The Voice, and we talked earlier about maybe the first thing is practice. The second thing is getting your name out there, but maybe even before that, because I feel like getting your name out there is the step before you become wealthy and create your own brand. So maybe practice, create the support system, get your name out there, and then creating your own brand. Because I feel like getting your name out there with The Voice and American Idol, that's going to be right before you have to create your brand, okay? Because you do talk about it down here, about how being on this show is going to allow you to work with other people and so on and so forth. All right. The very first supporters will be your family and close friends. They'll be great supporters because they heard you singing all over in your house and singing to your music in the car. Good example. You could even be more specific, singing while vacuuming, or changing the channel just to sing to, your favorite T Swift song, something like that. This sentence, I'm not exactly sure what you mean at the end with other things becoming close enough. But you also might want to say how your friends can be like probably coattail riders. Like, you have to be careful sometimes with your friends because, they may have supported you while you were not famous, but once you become famous, is there something that happens? Then you say your other supporters are vocal coaches and talent agencies, which, now that, remember, they're only out for themselves, so I'm not exactly sure how great a supporters they're going to be. So you talk about they need training, and that, I feel like this is a better support up in your training paragraph for, a practice training paragraph. If you go with one, I feel like that would be good support for there. Again, I think you need to caution, though, the reader about people that are fake to you just because they want to be with you. Need a stronger transition. Keep your dedication for the next big move towards wealthiness. Keep your dedication as you start building your own brand, something there. So the last body paragraph is about creating your own signature brand. Again, topic sentences week. And here's what you talk about perfume, which is funny because somebody else talked about perfume in their paper too. Funny that both of you went with that. But when I think of brand, I also think of like Beyonce as her own brand. Like, she creates her name as her brand. Whereas, are you just saying that you need to put your name on products? And if that's the case, then I think you can definitely talk about it a lot more. But be careful and think maybe a little bit about what that brand is. So the perfume example is fine, but the rest of your paragraph, it's pretty plain. There may also be other things you can have your signature on. It depends on what you want your signature brand to be. But, it's not specific. There's no details. There's nothing to separate it out from everyone else's paper. You're just not saying a whole lot in this paragraph. With your conclusion paragraph, no comma here. Not the strongest retelling of your thesis statement either. This is kind of a throwaway statement. It's not really needed. And I would even move it to the bottom if you are going to use it. So work on your talent over time, and you'll succeed with self-dedication. So it creates attention. This leads to opportunities. So this is going through all your body paragraphs. They're kind of short, choppy sentences, though. I feel like you could really work on those. This allows you to be happy with things you like doing. So I don't know what that means, because you didn't really talk about, you kind of talked about you just have to do what you want to do, but I'd want you to be more specific there. And it's absolutely clear that being famous shows you, an individual, what you can be. Really plain, boring ending there. So we want to have a stronger ending. Maybe go back to the T Swift quote, something like that. So works cited page is absolutely correct. So good job with that. And your in-text citation was correct too. So good job, Vanessa. Not a lot of your classmates could do that. All right. Vanessa, the bones of your paper is fine. Everything is technically here that you need. You just need to make it stronger. You're short on 3 pages, so adding that 4th body paragraph and organizing it the way I talked about earlier might be what you want to do and to make your paper stronger. So keep that in mind as you move forward, and just to make this paper stronger overall, just having a better voice. So good luck.